So the other day I was having a discussion with somebody, and he asked me if I believed that the mind could heal the body, and I said absolutely, 100%. Mind-body medicine is real. There's so many examples of how the mind impacts on the body and creates all sorts of diseases and pains and sufferings. So if the mind is doing that, the mind can undo that. Yeah. And I asked him if additionally, so I gave him a whole bunch of examples of how there are all these psychosomatic illnesses. Psycho is mind, somatic is body. There are so many psychosomatic illnesses or components, psychosomatic components to illnesses, if you will. Asthma, migraine headaches, neck aches, back. Why do you think the expression, he's a pain in the neck? Yeah, it's a pain in the neck because your mind you're so angry at this person and annoyed that you get a neck ache. You get tension, you get a neck ache, you can get a backache, you can get a migraine headache, you can get an ulcer and stomach ache. People who are type A personalities, some people think they're workaholics. They may be, but they're angry people. They're full of rage. They're rageaholics, full of rage. And what happens to these people? They end up more frequently in the hospital with heart attacks and strokes. Mind, body, it's real. Anger hurts. Anger hurts you. Anger stresses the immune system, makes it easier to get sick and harder to get well. Anger increases your blood pressure, your heart rate, right? Increases the chance of strokes and heart attacks. Mind, body, rheumatoid arthritis, mind, body medicine, so mind, body connections. There's so many of them. If you look it up, you'll see that the linkage is pretty amazing. Okay, so can the mind influence the body? You bet it can. Hypnosis. Hypnosis can actually change things physically. That's mind body. The women, I don't know if they still do this, but in the past they did. For women who could not take an anesthetic during a C-section, that's a cesarean section where they can't normally deliver vaginally, and they have to have their abdomen cut open to deliver the baby, and that's pretty painful, you would think, right? Cutting open someone's belly and pulling out a baby. And so normally these people have to be put under an anesthetic. But there's some people who are allergic to anesthetics or have other reasons why they can't take an anesthetic. And so what they did is they did hypnosis. And they gave a hypnotic suggestion to the woman that it wouldn't hurt. That cutting her open wouldn't hurt. And they did it. And it didn't hurt. And the blood loss was minimal. Even in some cases, I believe even more minimal than through the normal C-section with an anesthetic. No pain, right? The mind did that. The mind turned off the nerve sensors, that the pain stimuli, turned it off. That's mind body. I saw a demonstration years ago, and I mean years ago, where somebody was hypnotized and was told that they were going to be touched with the tip of a cigarette, of a lit cigarette, and then the person, the hypnotist, took I think a pencil with a soft eraser and touched the person's skin with it, and the person's skin burned, it bubbled, it scalded, it burned. The flesh was burning from a pencil eraser tip that was believed to be, an ember, a red hot ember of cigarette ash. Mind body's powerful. You better believe it. All the more reason why you might want to start practicing control of your mind, so you can avoid bad things, bad illnesses and things, and improve your chance of healing. And of course, one of the best examples that I've used in the past has to do with Norman Cousins, who was publisher of the Saturday Review, I think, a magazine on the East Coast, I believe, decades ago, and he developed ankylosing spondylitis, a disease that is terminal. It freezes up all your joints and bones, and then you die. And he says, I'm not going quietly into the night. And he was in the hospital, and he was like watching all sorts of comedy shows and comedy movies of the day, and laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing. And he had no time to perceive himself as a victim. He had no time to spend, woe is me. He had no time to dwell on his fear, on death and dying. He had no time to give power to his disease. He just laughed himself well. He reversed the course of the illness. Yeah, it's a fact. Look it up. And then he sort of created, from that came like laugh therapy. And lo and behold, laughter and smiling releases endorphins, which is the natural like opiates in our body. You know, when you run, the runner's high, that's endorphins. You know, when you laugh and smile, that's endorphins. That's why I tell people, you know, even if you're in a sour mood, try to smile, try to laugh, because you'll actually be generating endorphins that'll make you feel better and maybe pull you out of that slump. So laugh therapy evolved from this mind over matter thing with Norman Cousins. So I also said to my friend, I said, well, you know, are you a religious person? He goes, yes, I'm a Christian. I said, do you believe that Jesus Christ existed? He goes, yes, I do. Do you believe the stuff he said on the Sermon on the Mount? And do you believe that he turned water into wine, and he multiplied loaves of bread and fish? And that he could heal a blind man and a leper. He could heal the sick and raise the dead. Do you believe all that stuff? And he goes, yeah, I do. I go, okay then. Well, chew on this. Christ in the Bible said, all these things that I have done, you can do and more. Look it up. This is not like, this is what he said. You know, ultimately, many people think, in my opinion, erroneously, that he's the Son of God and we aren't. And he came to say we are all the Son of God. We are all the sonship. We, each one of us, have the same power and ability as he has. When he said faith can move mountains, he wasn't making some kind of airy-fairy, analogy of some sort or metaphor. He was being literal. He says, if you believe fervently that this mountain will move from here to there, it shall be done. And these days, when people talk about affirmations, they say, what do you need to do? You need to visualize what you want and affirm it as if it has happened. Believe it passionately. Have faith. Believe it passionately. It has happened. It is happening. And it shall be done. This is the basis of affirmations and creative visualizations. And Christ was saying this couple thousand years ago, saying if you have faith and believe that you can move mountains, it shall be done. Yeah. He was kind of like the original law of attraction guy. It shall be done. Mind over body. Mind over matter. Yeah, we are incredibly powerful beings, but we just don't tap into it. We haven't evolved. And now you might say, well, it could take forever for our brains to evolve. But Jesus Christ had the same brain we had. He became enlightened. That was the difference. I'm not clear on the details, but somewhere in the story is like he spent 40 days and 40 nights like fasting in the desert, and then some things occurred to him. And I believe that there were some lost years of Christ where he's believed to have gone to India and hung out with like gurus and swamis and transcendental beings. And then, he figured it out. He figured it out. And we can figure it out too. And I'll tell you, one place to start is forgiveness, acceptance, and love. Yeah. That's, in my opinion, the Holy Trinity. In my opinion, that's a big part of mastering your mind. Because if you don't have those centered in your mind, then what you usually are filled with is fear and ego and doubt and judgment. And all those things are limit our capacity. They're limiting, they're restrictive, they're not expansive. and they limit our abilities to like connect with the cosmos, to connect with our higher self, our higher powers. So you want to move mountains? Focus on forgiveness, acceptance, and love, unconditionally and without exception. Thank you.